Hi foodies, today in my state tour, we are doing Michigan. That's right, the oven mitt of our country, the United States of America, but the UP counts too. We're doing Detroit style pizza. Now, when I was setting out to do, these states, my friend from New York said, why don't you do New York style pizza? I said, no way, because I'm from Chicago. Besides, New York style pizza is just like ours, except it's cut into triangles. But honestly, New York style pizza, it's all about the dough. Since they're right near the ocean, it's like that salt water. I knew a guy in Florida who started a pizza business. He literally imported the water to replicate the dough. There's a lot of transplanted New Yorkers down there. Anyway, I didn't even know Philadelphia had its own pizza. I just thought it was the triad of Chicago, Detroit, and New York. And again, here's our Chicago style deep dish pizza. We also do a pizza pot. Look at that. It's like they just pour the cheese in. It's crazy. But our deep dish pizza, as you can see, the bottom crust is kind of thin. It's just stuffed with cheese, essentially. Whereas a pan pizza is like that. The dough is thick. But what makes that's again the deep dish as opposed to a pan pizza, because I know my pizza because that. But the thing about the deep dish is the crust is not as thick as you would think. We actually here in Chicago, like I've said before many times, we eat tavern style, which is the thin crust cut into squares. This is what we order when we're eating, at home. We have it delivered. This is what, if you're a nurse, your hospitals will give you this as appreciation for what you do. Everybody's here. That's the pizzas we get. The thing about the Detroit style pizza, and I'm going to show that little flash of Wisconsin again, is it's made with brick cheese from Wisconsin, and the dough is crispy and crunchy, and it's made in these steel pans, these special pans. You can pause on that were used in the automotive industry, and somebody said, hey, let's make a pizza in it. It's using the brick cheese. Brick cheese is what makes this pizza so unique and special. If you use mozzarella or anything else, forget it. You're not going to get the same vibe. And it's all about that crust, that golden, buttery, crispy, crunchy crust, and the cheese that, again, this pan helps impart. It's steel. Most of them, though, are made now from aluminum. You can buy them online. I bought my steel pan at Home Goods for like $15. So I've never made this before. I have, I'm absolutely not familiar with how to make this, but I've looked up a couple of recipes using the San Marzano tomatoes, some sugar, garlic paste, Parmesan, grated cheese. Doesn't have to be like legit, it can be from a can, but if you're bougie, you can go ahead and grate your own. I'm using shortening, not oil, because in the brief research I did, I was told that's best. I'm cheating. I'm using pre-made pizza dough. I'm not making my own pizza dough. I'm sorry. I just worked a 12-hour shift. I'm not doing that. The star of the show, brick cheese. Again, Wisconsin brick cheese. Where do you get that? It's buttery. It's nutty. It's got a great cheese pool. It's high fat content. It's like you can order it online. It's like, Monterey Jack, mozzarella, and Munster had a baby, and cheddar. It's absolutely delicious. It's my favorite cheese ever. I first had it in San Francisco when a friend of mine sliced it up, put it on a plate, shoved it in the microwave, melted it. I was in love. You can usually find it in your deli section. If not, order it. Pepperoni, I'm using Boar's Head. A lot of the professional Detroit people buy the stick and they cut it themselves. I don't have time for that. I just bought it pre-sliced. But I'm still using the Boar's Head because the quality. If I had a choice, I would have used butter-flavored shortening, but I had this shortening left over from when I made a pie crust, so I just want to use it up. And again, I'm told that this is better to create that golden crispiness on the bottom that Detroit-style pizza is so known for. But I think it would be better even using the butter flavored, but it's better than the oil. Oil would kind of maybe soak into the dough. So again, I did watch a few YouTubes. I'll link you to one where a guy researched this pizza for like 5 months. He was so into replicating it purist style. if you've watched my channel for any period of time, you know I'm not a purist. I will recommend substitutes. I will show you what can be used in lieu of something if I think it might be hard for people outside of my area to find, or I will show you where to get it on Amazon. But for this pizza, I will say you have to use the brick cheese. Otherwise, it's just a pan pizza. So what really makes this pizza is the pan you use, the way the crust gets golden, and the cheese itself. The fact that I'm not making my own dough, I'm sure some purists would be like, nah, you failed right there. But because I'm so tired and because of time, and I'm not really a good baker, I mean, I literally just made my own first pie crust ever in my life this year. I've baked a couple loaves of bread. That's as far as my baking skills go. So I don't want to mess with the pizza dough. And when I have made homemade, quote unquote, pizza dough, it's been like that Jiffy box stuff. So I was really actually excited to find this pizza dough. It came frozen. I defrosted it because moving forward, I will definitely make my own thin crust pizzas, just regular pizzas with this. But being that I am from Chicago, pizza is so plentiful here that we just order it all the time. We rarely make our own, but it's getting super pricey. Like, I can't believe the price of a pizza right now. So it's really actually a treat to order out. So making it home is more economical. I'm using 2 things of dough because the one thing of dough is good for making a 14-inch thin crust. But they said for the pan pizza, you want the dough to be thicker, right? So you're going to want to use 2 balls of dough. If you're feeling adventurous, go ahead and look up recipes for making your own Detroit style pizza dough. But again, this is kind of the cheater version because I'm pressed for time and I just don't have the inclination to make it. I think I'm doing this right. I don't even know. I added some flour just to be able to touch it and not have it stick all over my hands. But I'm pretty sure that this is just what you're supposed to do. I don't know. I mean, again, most of the videos I've watched, people are making their own homemade dough. I did see from Sam the cooking guy this little cheat on his Detroit pizza, putting the garlic paste. So I stole that idea from him. If you haven't checked out his channel, you should. He mainly cooks on like a Blackstone or a grill. He's all about that. So check him out. He's got a great channel. So, and no affiliation. I don't know him at all. But I thought this was a really nice touch because I don't feel like messing with garlic cloves today either. I'm sprinkling it with oregano because I saw somebody else do that. And I thought, oh yeah, that's probably good. Because in the sauce, you'll see, I originally showed in the beginning a bag of Italian herbs. I was supposed to use the Italian herbs, and we'll get to what I actually did. So, can you buy just a can of crushed tomatoes? Yeah, you could. I have washed my hands. I've washed underneath my nails. Why messy up more equipment? So I'm crushing my tomatoes with my hands because these are the San Marzano. I think Marzano. I don't know. I don't have the thing in front of me to read it. They're the particular kind of tomatoes that are really delicious, and the crushed, they're hard to find crushed. You can buy them crushed if you can find them. That's great. Otherwise, I'm just crushing my own. Now here's where I messed up. I'm putting in all of oregano, and I meant to put in the Italian herbs, which also consists of like basil and stuff. So the sauce turned out still to be really delicious. It's just I didn't intend on just doing plain just oregano. So again, I will link down in the comment box below the exact recipe, and that's the cheese, salt and pepper, and the exact amounts, right? So it should have been the Italian herb. It still turned out okay. So if you don't have Italian herbs and you are super tired like me, you could just throw in the oregano. And I'm just going to mix it up. Now, I'm not going to cook it. A lot of recipes say cook it on the stove for like 15 minutes. Here I'm adding a little dab of that garlic paste because, again, I don't feel like messing around with garlic cloves tonight. It was like 9 o'clock at night when I was making this. Again, I just came off a 12-hour shift. So it's hard, and I got to turn around and do another one. So it's hard when you're working a lot to cook like this. So I'm taking my brick of cheese, It's not called brick cheese because it comes like this, by the way. I asked him to give me a brick because I got it from the deli and normally they would slice it, right? But I want to shred it. So I am using my food processor to do that. And if you know, then you should always shred your own cheese from blocks, because then you don't have those additives in there and it melts better and it tastes better and whatever. So that is the trick to having really delicious melted cheese or any type of shredded cheese that you need. And I did end up using the entire brick. It cost, like, I think you saw maybe almost $7 for the brick, which isn't too bad. So now I'm going to add the cheese directly to the dough. That is a big difference in Detroit style pizza from other pizzas. Usually you're putting the sauce on the dough first, but here what we're doing is we're putting the cheese first. And I'm going to be very generous with the cheese. This is absolutely my favorite cheese. It is, you're not going to find it in the big cheese section of your grocery store. It's either deli or specialty. Why? I think because it is only from one region. I'm not really sure, but man, it is so good. It is such a great cheese, which is why I was so excited to make this. Now, disclaimer, I have no idea what I'm doing at this point. I really don't know. I think you're supposed to just put these, they put just the lines of sauce. The sauce is not the star of this pizza show, okay? The star of Detroit style pizza is the dough, or the crust, I should say, and the cheese. That's what it's all about. And the traditional topping is pepperoni. You can probably use whatever topping you'd like, but I'm doing the pepperoni. And then when it cooks, it creates those little bowls of grease that we all know and love. So, and again, you see how thin sliced that pepperoni is? This is why I opted to get it already pre-sliced, because I probably couldn't replicate that, especially not uniformly. And again, time consuming to just be chopping up your own. But a lot of the more bougie YouTube channels were cutting up their own. I don't think there's much of a difference between the stick and the pre-sliced. It's still the same brand. Whatever, go ahead, judge me. I don't care. At least I'm putting them together where it looks kind of nice, right? I think I'm doing this right. I don't know. I mean, as I said, I watched maybe a couple of videos really quickly. I didn't have a whole lot of time to research this. I don't even know really the whole history behind it, other than somebody said, hey, let's take this automotive pan and make a pizza out of it. I do know that, like, I think Little Caesars or Domino's, one of the major chains, tried to replicate it. Had a feature limited edition. You do want to cook it on the lowest element in your stove for about 15 minutes at 500 degrees. At this point, I'm super tired. I apologize for the filming. I tried editing it to make it at least a little bit watchable. I'm releasing the sides of the crust, and I'm not sure about this at this point, because look at all that moisture. And actually, when I put it in the oven, I noticed some oyster. Oh my God. I think I'm still tired. See, it's very moisture. I did notice, like, it was kind of juicy going into the oven. I thought, maybe it'll burn off. Did it? Nah. No, this is look at what happened. I don't know what happened. I think it's not supposed to look like this, people. I mean, should I have baked it longer? I don't even know, but like, look at the bottom. It's soaked. It's just wet dough. It's disgusting. Look at that. This was at the bottom of my pizza pan. That is not supposed to be a thing. So I think I should have cooked the tomato sauce, because maybe that would have, I don't know, burned off the moisture. I don't know, but I am so shook at this. I am really disappointed. Maybe I should have kept it in there for longer, but I mean, every recipe I've seen says like 15 minutes. So, and the pepperoni would be crisped, it like burnt to a crisp if I kept it in there any longer. The cheese is melted. So this is just a huge fail of like an epic proportion. This is embarrassing, but it's I had to show you because it's sort of a life lesson. It's okay to fail, you know, like not every recipe turns out great. Yeah, I mean, I'm able to salvage some of the cheese. You know, I'm eating some of the pepperoni. Look, there's one cooked part. Woo woo. So, I mean, it has potential. I think I'm going to have to remake this. Luckily, I had extra pepperoni and extra sauce that I could stick in the freezer. And look, I will show you. This is why. This is why you want the brick cheese. Look at that cheese pull. And it's buttery and melty. It's delicious. It absolutely is phenomenal. I'm lucky to get it local. And look, I found one little part of the crust. That is how it's supposed to look. That's how it's supposed to turn out. So I was close. I was real close, but yeah, I don't know what I did wrong. If you do, please let me know in the comments. I can take the heat, whatever, bring it. It's okay. I get it. It's the Chicago pizza gods saying, no, you shouldn't have tried that. So I'm just going to make some Michigan cherry coffee and call it that's my Michigan video right there. From the Meyer, which is also a store based out of Michigan. So between their cherries and Meyer, Michigan, I love you. Sorry, I butchered your pizza. But, you know, hey, I'm from Chicago. The Chicago pizza gods would not let me do it right. Thank you so much. Love you guys.